This is what we were all hoping for as we have some huge free agency updates to go over today as multiple new reports have dropped surrounding some big details as it pertains to the Jays' pursuit of Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette, but specifically a comment from Jeff Passan that is not only exactly what we were hoping for, but folks, things are lining up great for this Jays team following what has been a very aggressive free agency. We're going to break that down as well as a ton of other things, including some notes on starting pitching, upcoming trades, and more. Ton to go over today. But before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. You guys have been an absolute beast with the support, folks. A lot to go over today. And obviously, it's been a quiet, not really quiet. Been a very busy 48 hours. Yesterday was a little bit quiet after, of course, the acquisition of Tyler Rogers. But a lot of things have dropped here, and I want to start with, and there's a ton of new reports, ones from yesterday night into this morning. I want to start with what was said by Jeff Passan recently on MLB Tonight. And he said, I think that there is definitely a chance that the Blue Jays could land Tucker and Bichette and would make them, without a doubt, the favorites to win the American League. And this is a comment that I believe it was a couple days ago that this was made on ESPN and MLB Tonight. And it was like past midnight that it was made. And a lot of people glossed over it because, again, this was on an American channel. This is very, very notable. Now, I watched the clip, and I believe this is an accurate quote here. He basically said that there is a chance that the Jays land Tucker and Bichette. And, of course, we know there's been tons of reports as of late revealing the Jays are favorites, I guess, for Kyle Tucker. Now, at this juncture, again, favorites is a term that we've heard for Ohtani. We've heard for, a lot of different guys, Roki Sasaki, not necessarily as it relates to the Jays, but just in general, it's not always right. But to hear this from Jeff Passan is exactly what you want to hear. Passan is as tuned in as anybody. And of course, yesterday was not a busy day for the Jays, but it was a pretty busy day as some trades went down. The Royals made a trade. Of course, there's some rumors of Brendan Donovan being traded to the Mariners to the Giants. A lot of things are going down here, but that's a crucial report from Jeff Passan. You can see this here. Here are my thoughts on this. If reports are to be believed, and of course, keep this in mind. This was from, I believe, Riley Delaney on Twitter. I don't know why it's cut out at the top, but if reports are to believe, we know two things. There isn't a major market for either player, and they're both expected to sign in like January. Could the Jays be waiting until both their prices drop so they can sign both? Which is notable because Jesse Rogers recently came out and said, I think he's looking for a longer-term deal, and that's why I like the Toronto Blue Jays' chances. So things keep getting better and better. And of course, at this point, it does seem like the Jays are going to wait out his market a little bit. Wait it out till probably, again, we talk about January as if that's super far away. It's only a couple weeks away, or a few weeks away. Christmas is just, a week and a half around the corner here. So it's at the point where, you pair it with the Jeff Passan comment. You have stuff from Jesse Rogers. You have things now kind of starting to develop. It's starting to look really, really promising, especially given the fact that no team, at least up to this point, of course, has really been rumored in the Kyle Tucker sweepstakes outside of the Phillies, who are no longer in it, the Orioles, who presumably, after signing Pete Alonso, are no longer in it, and of course, the Dodgers, who could ultimately end up signing Kyle Tucker. Now, this tweet, and it's a much longer tweet, so feel free to go check his Twitter. It's MLB Live. And I want to preface this by saying, so this guy has 10,000 followers on Twitter. He used to be known as Cardinals Live. He was around, and he's been around for a long time. Does he have sources? We don't really know at this point. Now, I will say there's a report dropped from Katie Woo, the most reputable Mariners reporter, yesterday, saying that they're heavily involved in the Brendan Donovan trade. MLB Baseball Live dropped that 3 days ago, that they were heavily involved in talks. So Jays fans are starting to believe. It's on Twitter a little bit now. Some of his things he's gotten right in the past. He had the Santander stuff. He had the Pete Alonso signing before it happened, I believe, last year with the Mets. Regardless, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying this is a reputable report, but I want to bring it up because it's notable. The Jays and Tucker have already discussed a deal at least north of 340. And this tweet is long, so I'm just going to abbreviate it here. He said it is the Jays have a competitive number in play. He doesn't know how close it is to 400. And he said, I heard over 7. I heard over 8. 340 over 8 would be a $42 million AAV. He basically goes on to say that his understandings, the Jays have the best ball in play of terms, or in the sense of years and AAV for combo, but higher AAV might be out there with the Dodgers. And it sounds like the Jays have the best annual value at the moment for the years combined. And he basically goes on to say in the rest of the tweet that the Jays are heavy favorites. He sees at this point the Jays probably getting him, but if Kyle Tucker decides he wants a shorter term deal, then the Dodgers are probably in play, right? It seems to be a two-team race between the Dodgers and the Jays. If you want to get that big 10, 12-year deal, $400 million, the Jays are their team. Now, and that's, of course, what Jesse Rogers is saying. If he wants a shorter term deal, it's probably going to be the Dodgers, though I don't know why the Jays couldn't match that as well. And you can see here from Kalshi, a betting app, they have the Jays at a 36% chance to join to get Kyle Tucker. And of course, this is based on the betting odds or the markets. The Yankees at 18, the Dodgers at 17, the Giants at 14, the Mets at 13. So things are starting to move now. It's not to say that the market here is going to move very quickly, because at this point, we know they just signed Tyler Rogers. Reports came out recently from Shai Davidi and Ben Nicholson-Smith revealing that, again, they remain engaged. And this was from 2 days ago. They remain engaged on Bo and Tucker. They are positioned in a good spot. And, Baseball Live basically went on to say even, yesterday, and this tweet was from, recently as well. I think this one was from yesterday. And then, of course, there was a couple days ago, and then there were some reports this morning and yesterday nights from Baseball Live basically saying the same thing. Term, Kyle Tucker, Jays. Shorter AV, maybe he wants to increase his value, go to the Dodgers. That's possible. I really hope it isn't possible, but it could happen there. So that's the latest here. And some big stuff. Again, reports and rumors especially started to fly yesterday surrounding Kyle Tucker potentially waiting until after Christmas. I'm hoping that isn't the case, but moves have been going down. Kenley Jansen signed, and obviously Jorge Polanco, he signed recently. And Ahmed Rosario signed with the Yankees yesterday. Jorge Polanco signed as well, I believe, with the Mets. So that's 2 years, $40 million. Players are starting to move now, but the big boys, Kyle Tucker, and I haven't even talked about Bichette. Keep in mind, Passan here said there's a chance they get both of them. And obviously, my focus has been on Tucker for this video. Bichette's right there too, right? Like, there's a chance they get both. And that's the biggest thing here. And that's obviously super encouraging, especially because they got, a very, very big deal, player in Tyler Rogers already, in Dylan Cease. And speaking of their bullpen and that move, Mitch Bannon goes on to say here that they're going to need to open up a 40-man roster spot soon. So you can see here, the Blue Jays bullpen is in an interesting place. This will change via injury, performance, or trades, but right now they have at least 16 realistic options for 18 spots. I'm going to have a full video covering this, but they need to make more moves to open up a 40-man roster spot for Tyler Rogers, who, according to Ken Rosenthal last night, the option for 2029 will vest at $12 million if Rogers pitches in 110 games combined in 2027 to 2028, or 60 games in 2028. And there's a very good chance that happens if you go based on the track record. So it'll probably end up being 4 years, $48 million up until 2029, the option only vests if he hits these, landmarks, if you want to call it, these milestones. So that contract's even better than I initially thought. And they're going to have to make moves in order to get him, on the team. Now, is that going to happen in the form of a trade, a Nathan Lucas trade, things like that? Very, very possible. It could be Joey Loperfido. It could be, of course, it's not going to be Miles Straw or any of those guys, but moves are coming one way or another, right? You got the main job done with Tyler Rogers. That's obviously the big bullpen piece, but they need to move more. They need to get a bat, and you can look at all the different stuff for Tyler Rogers. They remain engaged on Kyle Tucker and Bo, and we know that was their fallback option, like Tyler Rogers, as pertains to once Robert Suarez got signed. So let me know down below your thoughts around this, folks. The team's slowly shaping up to be really, really elite, but they have to take care of business. We'll keep you up to date every step of the way. And we also, Dylan Cease, he made some comments on joining Toronto, and he talked about how the staff behind him is going to help his biomechanics even better than we thought. Dylan Cease is a beast, and you guys are absolute beasts for watching. So let me know down below your thoughts on this. Thank you guys for watching. See you there.